Give up your right to be offended. Without exaggeration, resentment is familiar to everyone. It is a normal human reaction to an unjust treatment that brings disappointment, bitterness, and pain. When a shop assistant is rude to us, a driver cuts us off on the road, or a boss unfairly evaluates our work performance, getting angry and offended seems so logical and natural that we hardly question it. But Brant Hansen, a Christian radio host, encourages us to let in the idea that we can refuse to be insulted. He explores the concept of living an unoffendable life, which means choosing not to take offense at the words and actions of others. With humor and insights from the Bible, he suggests embracing forgiveness, grace, and a more peaceful approach to life. It doesn't take anger to do what's right, because we can answer injustice with love. We enjoy being offended to some extent because it gives us a sense of moral superiority. We sincerely believe that it is right to be angry and do not even suspect that we are falling into the trap of our prejudices. Refusing to be offended takes work, but it can change our lives. Anger is extraordinarily easy. It's our default setting. Love is very difficult. Love is a miracle. We can swap the need to be right for the chance to be in the moment and enjoy life. By shifting the focus away from ourselves, we notice the world that has always existed but might overlook because of anger. In essence, we always have a choice to be guided by rage or love, and even if resentment gets the better of us, we can remind ourselves of who we are and take back control. So let's learn how to use this superpower to change our lives. See the world as it is. One of the reasons why we are so easily offended is our naive belief that the world is flawless. Often, without even realizing it, we hope for sunny weather and for people to be kind to us. Deep disappointment sets in when these hopes get dashed. We create unrealistic expectations of others and suffer when they do not meet these unattainable standards. But what if we change the lens and look at the world more realistically? The truth is that it is far from perfect. Wars, accidents, conflicts, and natural disasters are part of our existence. Although these occurrences frequent our daily news, accepting that such turmoil is an inherent part of our world is difficult. Unfortunately, it is full of danger, but it doesn't mean there's no place for joy and peace. Gratitude and grace are not the rules, but the exceptions that make the world wonderful. We can appreciate the good things when we accept that we do not live in a utopia and that bad or cruel things might happen. Someone can cut us off on the road, but let us jump the line in a store for no reason. And while the first is part of our reality, the second is a rare miracle. When we let go of hopes of exceptional treatment, we can truly rejoice when it occurs. By accepting the inevitability of human error, we can develop empathy and compassion, recognizing that we too are imperfect. Seeing the world as it is allows us to navigate life's challenges more effectively. Instead of thinking about how things should be, we can focus on finding practical solutions to our problems. We become more adaptable and resilient in the face of adversity, knowing that perfection is not the goal. Adopting a realistic perspective also improves our relationships. When we stop demanding flawlessness from others, we free them from the burden of our unrealistic expectations, fostering an environment of understanding and acceptance. In turn, we create more authentic connections because we value and love people for who they truly are. Looking at the world with an unclouded vision, we discover beauty hidden in flaws. We create space for sincere and childlike joy, even from the small gifts of life. In cultivating gratitude, instead of being disappointed by the world's imperfections, we consciously give up false hopes and relish life here and now. Overcoming self-righteousness. Thinking we are better than others is part of human nature. Because of inherent self-centeredness, we believe we know what is right and doubt others' ideas. We would rather blame our opponent than admit our mistake. This reluctance to question our rightness and accept another's point of view misleads us and gives rise to anger and resentment. But what if we are wrong? Brant Hansen points out that research shows we adjust reality to fit our biases.
Moreover, this tendency is independent of IQ because, according to a study by Yale law professor Dan Kahan, people skilled at math find it challenging to solve problems when the correct answer conflicts with their political views. It means we become so entrenched in our beliefs that we refuse to acknowledge their errors, even when they're glaringly evident. Prejudices form the basis of our worldview and protect us from pain and disappointment. Abandoning them means destroying our reality. Ultimately, it frightens us and makes us cling even more to illusions. We believe what we hear first when there are two sides to a story. Self-righteousness is sometimes common among religious people who often evaluate others' morality. However, Brant Hansen has learned from his experience that imposing subjective rules on people does not inspire them to follow our beliefs, but only repels them. On the contrary, openness to different viewpoints makes people listen to us. Hansen says we should follow Jesus' example, renounce our superiority to finally hear others' stories and love them no matter what their beliefs. By giving up self-righteousness, we can move beyond our usual perspectives and see the multifaceted nature of the world. Accepting our vulnerability and powerlessness, we can empathize with others' struggles and victories. We will no longer be judges of others, but fellow travelers on life's journey. Instead of desperately trying to prove ourselves right, we can finally breathe and enjoy our differences. Even though we may feel humiliated by rejecting superiority at first, it helps us grow spiritually. When we lay down the mantle of self-righteousness, we build bridges of understanding that unite us in our shared vulnerabilities and strengths. Through this bond, we discover the power of genuine empathy that can heal us and transform our reality. Humility's strength, embracing a servant's heart. The paradox of humility is that it is often seen as a weakness when it is a source of strength and inspiration. Humility does not diminish our value, but rather enhances it. By putting aside our ego and adopting a servant mindset, we put the needs of others before our own. It gives us a deep sense of purpose and fulfillment as we contribute positively to the lives of around us. A servant's heart enables us to be more attentive and caring, leading to deeper and more meaningful connections with others. Instead of seeking recognition or praise, we find joy in selfless service and making a difference in people's lives. Brant Hansen gives the example of my friend Michael, an evangelical Christian who put aside his prejudices and accepted others for who they are. Michael bought a building that had previously hosted an exhibition benefiting AIDS research with the intention of converting it to a venue for Christian music and sermons. This move had the potential to ignite a culture war. The exhibition organizer thought they'd have to look for a new place for their project, but Michael said they could still do it in his building. Moreover, he offered to treat everyone to food and coffee. Although the AIDS-related art may have offended Michael because of his religious beliefs, he did not let them get the better of him and showed genuine love for his neighbor. He just wanted people to feel at home in his coffee shop, no matter who they were or what they believed. And it worked. People who were far from religious listened to his stories about Jesus while still retaining their own beliefs. Love trumps resentment and unites people no matter their differences. Humility and a servant's heart also help us to be open to learning and growth. We become more receptive to new perspectives and ideas when we're not trying to prove ourselves. Accepting others as they are, we transcend our desires and contribute to something greater than ourselves. An act of selfless service allows us to rise above our ego-driven concerns and experience the profound fulfillment of making a positive impact in the lives of others. In this transcendence, we can find genuine strength and purpose. God knows others' private motives. We don't. God knows our private motives. We don't. We think we can judge others' motives. We're wrong. Justice does not require anger. There's a widespread belief that we need anger to take action and fight for what is right. We believe that rage motivates and drives us to change the world. However, Brant Hansen challenges this common misconception and advocates for a more measured and compassionate approach to justice. He suggests drawing a line between anger and action. In particular, he cites research that contradicts rage's motivational power. People who are highly active online about meaningful situations are not inclined to take real action. For example, they may be vigorously participating in discussions about the need to sort garbage, but in reality do nothing to achieve the goal. Expressing our opinions to a large audience makes us feel like we have already done something significant to solve a problem. Hansen encourages us to recognize that anger does not guarantee effective justice. It can cloud our judgment and hinder rational decision-making. Instead of getting angry at injustice, we can use that energy to make real change. True justice requires a calm and composed demeanor. When approaching conflicts with a clear mind and an open heart, we can better understand the root causes and work towards constructive solutions. Hansen proposes that justice planted in compassion can lead to healing and transformation.
Turning to religion, he notes that the world has no balance of good and evil. In other words, just because we do everything perfectly doesn't mean we're safe from all danger. While this can be frustrating, there is relief here. God loves us no matter how wrong or right we are. By seeking to understand others' motives and experiences, we can address the underlying issues and foster a path to resolution and reconciliation. Moreover, embracing non-anger-driven justice enables us to break the retaliation cycle. Reacting with anger often perpetuates hostility, leaving no room for understanding and empathy. In contrast, responding with compassion and kindness can ease tensions and pave the way for mutual healing and growth. Hansen challenges us to rise above our instinctive reactions and tap into our capacity for empathy and forgiveness. By replacing anger with love and understanding, we lay the foundation for transformative change. Swapping anger for love will empower us to respond more effectively to challenging situations and pave the way for lasting and meaningful relations with others. The illusion of control. As humans, we have the power to both heal and destroy ourselves. We risk living in perpetual anxiety and perceived danger when we dwell on potential future failures. Instead of enjoying peace, our body goes into fight or flight mode. This response floods us with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, preparing us to face or run from danger. Modern life, filled with constant pressures and uncertainties, can trigger it more frequently than necessary and cause various physical and emotional health issues. As a result of stress, we can face the following consequences: immune system disturbances, chronic diseases, metabolic disorders, respiratory system problems, decreased fertility, and diseases of reproductive organs. Ultimately, living in fight or flight mode leads to mental problems and kills our interest in life. So why can't we relax and enjoy instead? As Brant Hansen points out, we're too focused on ourselves. We tried to earn security by working hard and following the rules, but this is not how the world works. If safety were based on reality, all successful people would feel confident and calm. Unfortunately, we can't predict the future. Hansen mentions the example of supermodel Cameron Russell, who worries about her body despite her recognized beauty and does not feel protected. The truth is that money, beauty, and fame cannot give us a peaceful life because we know that one day we can lose it. Even though we hope not to fail, the mere thought of this possibility makes us nervous. When we remember that nothing in the world belongs to us, we can easily let it go. Brant Hansen points out that genuine security and peace is only possible when we are ready to lose everything. It means we shouldn't get attached to things and places, but believe God will care for us. We can feel relieved when we accept our powerlessness. Yes, we can dream and hope for the best, but we must remember that some things are beyond our control. What we can do is choose inner peace. If we can't influence our future, there is no reason to worry, but we can take care of our today and make it beautiful. Did you know? According to Gitnux, 78% of Americans reported feeling stressed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Love is the only reason. We may be right 1,000 times, and our arguments may be the most convincing, but what do they cost if we don't carry love? None of our pursuits or victories matter or solve anything if we act out of anger. Only love is the driving force that can change people's hearts and fill them with meaning. And if it is easy to accept and love those who are similar to us and have the same life values, accepting someone different from us can be challenging. It requires sacrifice and self-denial. Brant Hansen recalls the story of his African-American friend Sherry, who found the strength to overpower her beliefs and accept others as they are. After meeting a man who showed open hostility toward her because of his racist views, she overcame her hatred and forgave him. She could have chosen another path and justified her anger, but she used the healing power of love, which filled not only her heart, but that of the hostile man as well. They embraced and understood that they had become each other's lesson about the transformative power of kindness. Unoffendable living isn't about suppressing emotions or being passive, it's about channeling them through the lens of love. It may sound trivial, but we must forgive ourselves to accept others. We are not perfect. We often make mistakes and hurt others, but God loves us as we are. That is why we must find a place in our hearts for those who do not meet our expectations. Love liberates us from trying to change or control others and allows us to embrace the beauty of diversity and individuality. Moreover, it is a powerful tool for inner transformation. When we extend love and compassion to ourselves, we create space for personal growth and self-acceptance. By giving up self-blame, we make room in our hearts for other people and inspire them by example. Self-denial opens a life filled with peace and joy. When we give up the right to superiority, we can finally stop fighting, just be, and love life as best we can. There are many reasons to be offended and angry daily, but only we choose how to react. To free ourselves from resentment, we can discover new horizons by letting go of expectations and accepting reality. Choose inner peace instead of anxiety to transform the world around us. Embrace forgiveness, humility, and love to find joy amidst life's uncertainties. See the world with realistic eyes to foster genuine connections free from judgment and self-righteousness. Discover the strength of selflessness to heal and reconcile through a servant's heart. We must remember that unoffensive life is not a destination, it's a day-to-day practice. It means we must choose love over judgment, compassion over irritation, and understanding over resentment, but it's worth it. Letting go of anger allows us to discover the true purpose of life, which is to trust the universe and be an observer who does not adjust reality, but accepts it as it is. Let us carry these insights into our everyday existence, becoming beacons of empathy and love. As we embody these crucial principles, we inspire others to do the same, creating a wave of positivity that transforms our lives. Together, we can build a more harmonious and compassionate world, leaving a legacy of peace and unity for generations. Try this. Start by consciously giving up the right to be offended in your daily interactions. When faced with a potential offense, pause and choose empathy and understanding over anger or resentment. Throughout your day, take moments of stillness and mindfulness. Release the illusion of control and surrender to the flow of life. Critically evaluate your deepest beliefs and try to see other points of view. Cultivate gratitude even when things don't seem to be going well. Give thanks for waking up today and feel how joy fills your heart.